Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. Want to win in life's challenges? To know the will of God and have more passion for Him? Practical help right now with Tak Bhana and Running with Fire.
Thanks for tuning in today, and this week we're talking about your favourite subject. Yes, fasting. Well, it's not your favourite, but I hope by the end of this week you'll be more interested in it than you are right now. It is one of the most powerful truths in all of Scripture. I can't stress that enough, that it is one of the keys to breakthrough, to healing, to victory, to knowing God, to having spiritual strength, spiritual muscle, to handling the storms of life. It's one of the greatest keys. Heard of this woman was plagued for years with these protruding knots at the base of her spine. You could easily feel the knots, and it caused her severe pain. She and her husband went on an extended fast, and the first few days was water only, and then they went on a Daniel fast. But on the third day of the fast, she put her hand to where those knots were to pray for herself for healing, only to find that the knots were no longer there. She was healed on just the second day of the fast. He who humbles himself will be exalted. You can't humble yourself with fasting and not be exalted in due season. It's kind of like a promise that God gives you. A preacher tells how his mother would always say to the brothers and sisters, there was about 11 of them, you're all going to be saved. You're all going to serve God. And she would say, because I'm fasting for you. And when any of them went off the rails, she would say, hey, I've got to go into a fast for this one. And she would. And all 11 kids saved and serving God. Fasting is just so powerful. Fasting draws you closer to God. You want to get closer to God. Not only does that, it increases your spiritual capacity, increases your spiritual IQ, your bandwidth for experience God gets greater. Your spirit, listen, please, was built for much more of God than you are experiencing today. Much, much more. Most of us live way below our spiritual potential and what our spirit is capable of in terms of relationship and knowing God. And fasting is one of the keys to increasing more of that in our lives. You know, when you fast, it causes the roots of your relationship with Jesus to go deeper. It lets you see truths in the Bible that you've not seen before. They say fasting attracts God to your spirit. Interesting, isn't it? So when you fast, you're telling God that He's more important than lamb roast, than ice cream, than cake. He's even more important. Fasting is more, you're telling God He's more important than chicken curry. Now that's a statement, isn't it? So there you go. So another thing fasting will do is increase our authority in prayer. It adds a lot of power to our prayers. And you're in a church, and there's a church called to revival, see the spiritual temperature church increase. And so that's going to take real spiritual authority. And so it needs prayer and fasting. Matthew 17:14-21. Listen to this story. A man came to him, kneeling down to him, saying, Lord, have mercy on my son. He is an epileptic, suffers severely, often falls into fire and water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not cure him. Jesus answered and said, faithless, perverse generation, how long will I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him here to me. Jesus rebuked the demon. It came out of him. The child was cured from that very hour. The disciples came to Jesus privately and said, why could we not cast it out? Jesus said, because of your unbelief. I say to you, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you'll say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. However, this kind does not come out except by prayer and fasting. So maybe, like the disciples, you've been asking the question, why can't I get my breakthrough? Why am I spiritually defeated? Why can't I break this addiction, get free from fear and anxiety? Many other things. Sometimes Jesus would say, because of a lack of faith, but also that some things for us to get victory in require fasting. There's just so much power in prayer and fasting.
Tak Bhana is the Senior Pastor of Church Unlimited in Auckland, New Zealand. For more information, to make contact or to listen again, look for Running with Fire at our website, vision.org.au. Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.